everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today I have a special guest all the way out at the Denver ETH convention right now, but is actually going to be going to a ton of different events this year. One of them being Consensus, that I'm really pumped because that means he's coming to my stomping ground in Austin, which means that we get to meet and other things. But all that to say that I'm really excited to learn more and speak more with Tony Chan, who is the CEO of Pledger Finance. How are you doing today?
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me, Richard. Honored to be talk to you here at Cryptocurrent.
Absolutely, man. So before we dive into learning more about Pledger, let's first learn a little bit more about you. Can you give us a little background on yourself?
Sure. I was born in Hong Kong. I went to Stanford and UC Berkeley for computer science. I started my first startup I wrote part of Windows 95, and I started my first startup in 2003.
Wow.
Company that went bankrupt, lost all my money. I thought I'm the smartest guy in the world. I was arrogant, naive, and inexperienced. Never open-minded, talk to people, and that's a little bit of background of myself. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And it's interesting that you come from the computer science background, you go through that experience, and for a lot of people, it's hard to bounce back from that and to want to keep trying. What made you want to be resilient and kind of like pick yourself up and like get back into the entrepreneurial space?
Yeah, I think as entrepreneur like you, Richard, we have a lot of hard time. There's always up and down, and we just need to have a never give up attitude. If we truly believe in something, like I remember I started buying Bitcoin in 2017. It was about $4,000 some dollar. People say, my wife tell me I'm crazy. What is this thing? I told my dad about it. He said, what is this cryptocurrency? I cannot touch it. I cannot feel it. Gold is a lot better. And they just don't get it in 2017. And now my wife is holding Bitcoin. My dad is holding. I convinced them, and they're all happy now. Yeah, it's good.
Right. Yeah. It's good to be part of that innovation, to see the vision, and to stay convicted in what you believe is coming. So that's really cool that, you got into the space around 17. And then tell us a little bit more about that. So you first learned about crypto, you start to invest in 2017, and then you decide that you want to start to work into this space. So can you kind of tell us about that transition?
Sure. So I got in crypto in 2017, and before that, I'm a real estate broker. I've been a real estate broker in the Palo Alto area for the past 12 years, mainly helping my classmates from Stanford and many of my Chinese clients to invest in real estate in the Palo Alto area. And one day in April 2017, there's a lady called me from China, and she said she wants to buy a house in Palo Alto. I say, great. I will take you as a client. I'll help you make some money as commission. And then she tell me, after I help her buy a house, and then she say, hey, I want to buy some Bitcoin. That was the first time I heard of Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, I realized a lot of these high net worth individual, they see Bitcoin as a new asset class. So they buy some real estate, they buy some stocks, they buy some gold, some oil, they buy a little bit of everything, and they start buying some Bitcoin. So they see this as a new asset class. And I said, whoa, all these rich people, they see Bitcoin as a new asset class. I better jump in along with them. So I've been buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these since 2017, just as a passive investor. And I got into crypto full-time last year, 11 months ago, and started a Pledge project. So I started this because it's a DeFi lending protocol. I have clients from both sides. I have clients who have a lot of Bitcoin early on. They bought at $200-$300, and they want to use those as collaterals to borrow some money out and buy more real estate to diversify out of their crypto asset. On the other hand, I came across a lot of investors. I've been helping them to invest in real estate. These people, they just want fixed and stable return. And as we know it right now, if we put money in the bank, we cannot even get 1% from our savings account. And if we do crypto lending, we can provide like 3-4% with Bitcoin back. So it's really stable, highly liquid, and there's a huge demand for people who want to get their cash to work and not put money in the bank. So I have clients from both sides. So I'm starting this DeFi lending protocol. That's how. That's why I get started. Yeah. So it's
that's great, man. And it's interesting with you having the real estate background and then seeing how it then blends with what's going on with the crypto space. And so the DeFi world lending, I think there's a lot of untapped potential that's still there. Yes, we had DeFi summer in like 2020, but like I still think DeFi's big year is yet to come. And it's interesting how you can just like you said, even for the ultra wealthy, you're not going to be able to find 1% that you get in your savings account or et cetera. So why wouldn't you let your money work for you and then be able to use your potential assets as collateral? So can you kind of walk us through a little bit of as we look at pledge finance? It's you title it as the world's leading marketplace for financial NFTs. Can you kind of break that down and explain what that means?
That's great. Sounds great. So in the traditional finance world, we see banks do all these loans. And for pledge, we are doing crypto loans. So I can walk through an example. For example, if you are a borrower, you want to borrow some stable coin. Let's say you want to borrow one stable coin, one USDT or USDC. You put in $2 worth of Bitcoin as collateral. Okay, that's on the borrow side. So once that's on the borrow side, and on the lending side, they just lend out these stable coin, one USDC to the borrower, and in return, the borrower will get something called SP token. That token is a financial NFT that represents the promissory note. So to put a more concrete example in our traditional finance world is that when we go to the bank and borrow money, the bank will give us the money and they will let all the borrowers sign something called a loan document. Okay, that loan document, the bank gives you the money and the bank get a loan document. And then loan document, we are converting to the financial NFT in the DeFi world. And the bank will sell this loan document to a third party, to different investor, to different institution, and get their money back and do more loans. So that's the bank business model. And we see this whole thing will be happening again in the DeFi world. And it's already happened in the traditional finance world. The bank loan out the money, get the promissory note, package this loan, and sell it to the investor. And there's a huge market of people trading this. And we want to focus on creating this marketplace for people to trade this financial NFT. That's what we're doing. Yeah.
And it really does sound like a really cool concept. And as you're kind of piecing all of these different financial tools together, I believe you were able to launch this just on the Binance Smart Chain. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. We launched our product on Binance Smart Chain. We got a couple thousand in TVL now, a couple thousand transactions in the first few days on our testnet program. We started off on Binance Smart Chain because we have great connection with Binance. I'm a Chinese guy, and all the Chinese run the Binance ecosystem, and they have 21 billion in total lock value already. It's a great platform. Wow. Ethereum is great. I own a lot of ETH. I'm a true believer in ETH, but just that Ethereum, the gas fee is a little bit expensive now.
Super expensive. Yeah. It's a huge hindrance.
Right. Also, it takes a much longer time to get the confirmation, the transaction. So as a small startup company, we want to bet on a Binance Smart Chain to start because the cost of trying out new things is a lot cheaper. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. And it's been great. We did an airdrop with CoinMarketCap. And over 400,000 people participate. And that's how we built our initial Telegram community. Yeah, thanks to all the Binance connection. They bought CoinMarketCap and been helping us to promote. It's been great. Yeah.
No, that's incredible, man. And so it's cool that you have a growing community. You have people out here using your different lending protocols. So for someone listening to this right now, how could they come on to Pledge Finance and participate?
Yeah, so just go to pledger.finance, the website. You can click on the V2 link and try it out. The main difference for our protocol compared to like Compound or Aave and different DeFi protocol is that we provide fixed and guaranteed loans to the lenders. In today's market world, Compound and Aave and all these different DeFi protocol, the borrower can return and pay off their loan early. Once the loan is paid off, the lender is not getting any interest payment. So what makes pledge unique is that the loan are not we call them non-recourse. So the borrower cannot pay off the loan. So the lender will always get this constant stream of return. Okay, as a real estate guy, we signed leases before. There's always 1 year fixed term lease, and there's always month to month lease. So in our project, we provide like a longer term 1 year fixed term lease to the tenant. So as a landlord who lend out the money, once you have a tenant sign the fixed term lease, your monthly rental income is guaranteed. You always get rental payment. And today, everybody just do month to month short term. They can just move out anytime. So that makes the product really unique.
Got it. So you're basically locking in guaranteed returns for your lenders. So for people who are locking up their money, which is great. Yeah. The other question I have for this as well is, as we look at where the protocol currently is, and I was looking at your roadmap and it looks really cool. Tell us about kind of what the plan is as you look at the rest of 2022.
Sounds great. So our first step is originate all these loans, as many as we possible. We need help to get more borrowers and lenders to our platform and start doing the matchmaking and doing the loan. And we just charge a 0.25% a small transaction fees, just like Uniswap. It's all up and running. Step one. Step two is after the lender lend out the money, they get this SP token I talked about earlier, where we can use this SP token and create a marketplace for it. We call them the financial NFT. So we're building like an OpenSea, but just trading these financial NFT. So people will constantly buy and selling based on their prediction on the interest rate. So yeah, just like Wall Street, they constantly trade these bonds all the time. And after that, we see long term we can take any kind of collateral. So I think we work with a company called Celsius. They just announced that they will be providing something called WDoge. So the Dogecoin can be converted to an ERC20 standard, where the Dogecoin can be used as collateral, and we can be supporting that. So now we support like Bitcoin as collateral, Ethereum as collateral. Later on, we can support Doge. We can support any kind of like NFT. So those who own NFT, they do not have to sell it, just like real estate. They just hold it for long term. If they need money, they just put it on our platform as collateral. We do a cash out refinance on their digital asset. They get their money. They buy more. They can buy more NFT. They can buy another house, right? Buy another Ferrari. Do whatever they want, and they can just pay off the loan at later on when things settle. Yeah.
No, that's a really unique marketplace. Of course, with having this type of marketplace, what's very important is security. Can you kind of talk about the security that you'll have in place to make sure that these lenders are having their assets on your platform being protected?
Great question. Thank you. So for the lender side, couple of things. Our protocol has been fully audited. Everything is open source, and we know there shouldn't be any bugs and hacks. It's all transparent. People can review it. For the lender, right now, the loan that we originate, it's minimum we have a 200% collateralization ratio. What that means is for every dollar we lend out, we need to have people put in $2 worth of Bitcoin into our protocol. And there is actually a chance of the lender losing money is when the Bitcoin drops fast enough. We have something called a margin ratio. We've set it up to 120%. So for the $2 worth of Bitcoin, when it starts dropping, if it's drop down to $1.20, we start the liquidation. And there will be a very good chance we can sell the Bitcoin fast enough to make sure the lender will get the $1 back. But there may be a chance if at $1.20, all of a sudden Bitcoin dropped down to like 90 cents or 80 cents. And if we didn't sell fast enough, there is a chance that the lender could lose money.
Yeah. Got it.
But it's highly unlikely because we have 20% margin. And in history of Bitcoin, and we just automatically sell this. We can sell this in seconds. There's a high liquidity on Bitcoin. So highly unlikely. We will run into a liquidation event, but highly unlikely the lender will lose money because we still have 20% margin, and we can sell this in seconds. So the only way the lender will lose money is within a few seconds, Bitcoin drop more than 20%.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only
That's
way.
definitely good to know, and it's cool that you're being very transparent about that. And it's a good thing that you are you've already thought through this, and you can protect your lenders as much as possible. So with it, that'd be a really rare case, but to the potential lender that comes in, the upside on it is a lot higher anyway. So there's always trade-offs with any type of investment vehicle that you use. But again, appreciate you being able to break that down and show how that particular piece works. Yeah. So as a kind of a follow-up question to that around security and how you are protecting your lender on the downside. You mentioned a few times now it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So, for example, if I have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and I put that in there, that means I now can be lended out $500, right? So if I put in 1,000, now I can be liquid 500 and can go, let my money work for me. So, and I know that you said it's locked for a certain amount of time as well. I believe you said it's either month to month or a fixed 1-year term, so you don't pay it back early. So when the person, let's say I put in $1,000, I take out my 500. When I then, in this scenario, pay off my loan to get my initial $1,000 back, how much would I need to pay back?
It will be the whatever principal plus the interest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever interest payment. So it can be 3%, 5%, 10%. Yeah, that is agreed upon. Yeah. And our protocol actually is smart enough that at the maturity date when the loan expires, it will sell enough Bitcoin or the digital asset to pay off the loan. So you don't have to worry about anything. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. So you get your money as a borrower, you get your money upfront, and then when the loan expires, you get the remaining Bitcoin automatically, portion of it. And if you want to get out of the position, you get something called a JP token as a borrower, and you can sell that anytime. If you think Bitcoin will go down, you may not be able to pay off the loan, you just sell off this JP token. Yeah.
Right. No, that's excellent, man. And earlier you actually brought up the example of Celsius. I'm very familiar with Celsius. I've actually personally used it a few times. So as we look at the Celsius protocol compared to like Pledger Finance, what would you say are some of the biggest differences between the two?
Yeah, it's a great question. So for Celsius and BlockFi, these are great companies. We learn a lot from them. The business model is the same, but the only main difference is these are CFI, centralized finance. Just like Coinbase and Uniswap, both doing exchanges, but Coinbase is a centralized finance.
Right.
And for us, we are BlockFi, Celsius is centralized DeFi, and we are decentralized. And I personally think that decentralized is a much more secure system because everything is open source, just like Uniswap, the protocol is open. And the cost also of running this business is a lot lower. Because we don't need to do the KYC, it's much easier for people to sign on board. It interacts with the MetaMask wallet. You just click a few button, everything is automatic. If you open an account on Celsius or BlockFi, you have to do all the KYC process, all the approval, and it's just cumbersome. And there's also a risk for a centralized protocol because there's a company risk and there's people risk, right?
Right.
Yeah, we are all into this crypto and it's all about decentralization, right? So everything should be decentral. Look at Satoshi. He can disappear, right? And the Bitcoin protocol just keep running. There's a community. Everybody just believe in it. Yeah, and it's just automatic. So
for sure.
I think that should be the right model going forward.
Yeah, and I appreciate you breaking that down a little bit more so for everyone listening. So CFI, centralized finance, and then DeFi, decentralized finance. So Pledger Finance is going to be a DeFi protocol, which everything's truly decentralized. And again, don't have to KYC, don't have to do some of these other protocols, and everything works pretty smoothly. So again, Tony, appreciate you breaking all that down. One more question I want to throw in as it relates to Pledger Finance. As you look at 2022, so at the time of this recording, we're in early 2022. It's around February, and there's a whole lot that I believe is coming towards this space. What are things that you're looking out for that you think other people should be looking out for?
I think NFT will continue to be hot. This is not hype. It's going to be it will be continue, and this will change a lot of things. And everybody should look into this. And DeFi, I see this is just the beginning. I'll recommend people to look more into something called crypto fees. it shows how much revenue these DeFi protocol are making. Like one perfect example, everybody heard of Uniswap. Yesterday I checked, they make $3 million a day in revenue. These are like real profit, and they have like 45 people. There's no business in the world that can do $3 million a day with 45 people.
Right.
And Uniswap, they don't need to do anything anymore. They can fire everybody. The protocol will just keep running automatically. People just get on and constantly trade and buy and sell. And these are beautiful business model. And we really should look more into an area like this.
For sure. And thanks for putting that on everyone's radar. I think a lot of people don't really understand like how unique in a unicorn type of company. Again, 3 million in revenue a day.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
With only 45 people,
right?
And they don't need to do anything,
right?
And the beauty is, I'm a software guy. They just write the smart contract once, and even better than Zoom. Zoom is like a SaaS business model. Zoom is like they write the software once, they charge people every single month for a fee. Uniswap, like Pledge, is even better. So we write the software smart contract once, we charge people every single transaction.
Right.
It's like early days of the mobile phone. People like carrier charges every single minute.
Yeah. It's a unique opportunity, and your software brain is definitely figuring out like, okay, well, how do we be a part of this, but then also provide a lot of value and do all of this for people in a decentralized way. So kudos for you for figuring that out, being a part of this. But Tony, I always like to wrap up with 2 fun questions. The first being, with all the information you have right now, if you could go impart 1 to 2 pieces of wisdom to yourself when you first got it started about 11 months ago, what would you tell yourself?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? What
So all the information and knowledge you have about building Pledge Finance, you've learned a lot of lessons. If you could go and tell yourself 1 or 2 lessons back when you first got started building this, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, I think I will recommend to get more feedback from people. Definitely talk to more people, get more feedback, and so we can optimize this and avoid more pitfall going forward. And also, I think timing is also very important. It's been a great past 11 months. That's how we can raise the 3 million seed round from venture capital. We can do a 10 million public sale with TokenSoft, and we can list our token on KuCoin. I think it was like $15 billion valuation when it first get listed.
That's awesome.
It's good. So the timing is also very important. If we do this in a bear market, we will have difficulty raising funding. So have a good sense of the market is very important. Yeah.
For sure. Well, thank you for those 2 really good pieces of knowledge right there. But as we kind of wrap up, in the final question I always like to ask is, what is a final thought that you want to leave with all the listeners here today?
I would recommend everybody to look into DeFi, and I'm willing to help and contribute and share my advice and idea to anybody who want to start anything in the blockchain world. This Web3 will going to change the world, and I've seen this before in the early days of the internet, and this thing will happen again, and I see this thing will be a lot faster, a lot bigger.
Agreed. It's a fun time to be in the space. A lot of people have been asking recently, is like, hey, is it too late for me to get into crypto? I said, no, it's the perfect time. Start learning, get involved. There's a whole lot of green pastures in front of us. You just got to get your foot in the door and be a part of this amazing journey that is cryptocurrency. So, Tony, again, man, appreciate your time today. What are ways that people can connect with you and keep learning more about Pledge Finance?
Yeah, you can go to pledger.finance or just look me up on Twitter. I'm Tony Chan. I'm at Tony Chan or Tony Y Chan or on Telegram. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, again, Tony, thank you so much for spending time. Everyone listening, make sure you go check out pledger.finance. And of course, for everyone listening, stay cryptocurrent.